Welcome back to the news at 10. Let's cross over to Abuja now. Here's Gloria Umezuke. Gloria?
Hello, Ijoma. We begin in Abuja, where the House of Representatives Committee on National Security and Intelligence is to investigate reports of an alleged missing $44 million from the vaults of the National Intelligence Agency. The sponsor of the motion, which led to this resolution, Honorable Doye Diri, explains that this latest report is coming too soon after more than $43 million belonging to the agency was discovered in a block of flats in Ikoyi area of Lagos State. The motion also calls for attention to the issues surrounding the nationality and competence of the recently appointed Director General of the agency. A building belonging to the wife of former President Goodluck Jonathan, Mrs. Patience Jonathan, has been demolished by the Federal Capital Development Authority. The building, located in Mabushi district of the nation's capital, houses a foundation belonging to Mrs. Jonathan. Her lawyer, Mr. Emmanuel Anene, claims the demolition of the property was unexpected as relevant authorities had been shown the building plan and that the matter is still in court. Mr. Anene showed his bitterness at the development authorities' disregard for the rule of law and the process in which the demolition was carried out. The trial of former Group Managing Director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, Mr. Andrew Yakubu, resumed today at the Federal High Court in Abuja, with prosecution calling its third witness. The witness, Mr. Ahmed Yahaya, an official of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, was led in with evidence. Mr. Yahaya told the court how the money recovered from Mr. Yakubu was deposited at the Central Bank of Nigeria after a temporary forfeiture order was given by the Federal High Court. Our correspondent, Amaka Okafo, has the report.
The trial of the former Group Managing Director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, Mr. Andrew Yakubu, continued with the prosecution calling its third witness. Led in evidence by the prosecutor, the witness, Mr. Ahmed Yahaya, an official of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, narrates how $9.6 million and 74,000 pounds sterling was found in the defendant's house in Kaduna State. Yahaya told the court that after the money was discovered, a court order was obtained at the Federal High Court in Kano by FCDA for a temporary forfeiture of the alleged looted fund and was subsequently deposited at the Central Bank of Nigeria for safekeeping. The witness told the court that the CBN issued a certificate of delivery to the anti-graft agency, which he added was duly signed by CBN and the FCDA officials. The prosecutor thinks his witness gave a good account of himself.
We have brought all our witnesses and we have taken one, and the witness was properly cross-examined, and his evidence is so straightforward. That's to tell you, in EFCC we have best mind, well-trained officers. So the case is going on smoothly.
But when cross-examined by the defendant counsel, Mr. Ahmed Raji, the witness said he did not know whether the court order was specifically directed for the money to be deposited at the central bank or not. The defense counsel, Ahmed Raji, had this to say about the proceedings.
Maybe a bit disrespectful to the court and the system for us to be making absolute statements at this stage. So my take is that it's an unfolding saga. We'll get there when it's at the right time.
Justice Ahmed Mohammed adjourned the case to February 28 for the prosecution to call more witnesses. The former Group Managing Director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, Mr. Andrew Yakubu, is standing trial on a 6-count charge bordering on money laundering and false declaration of assets. Amaka Okafo, Channels Television News.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has rearranged a former Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Mrs. Jumoke Akinjide, before a Federal High Court sitting in Lagos. Mrs. Akinjide was rearranged before Justice Muslim Hassan on a 24-count on allegations of financial crimes. She had earlier been arraigned alongside 2 others before Justice Joyce Abdul Malik at the Federal High Court, Ibadan. But the transfer of the case to Lagos paved the way for today's rearrangement. In the charge sheet, the EFCC accused former FCT Minister and former Minister of Petroleum Resources, Mrs. Gezani Alison Madueke, who is said to be at large, including 2 others of conspiring to directly take possession of 650 million naira believed to be proceeds of an unlawful act. The other 2 named in the charge are Senator Ayo Adeosun and a chieftain of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Chief Olarinwaju Otiti. The defendants allegedly received the money from Mrs. Alison Madueke in the build-up to the 2015 general elections. The money was said to be part of a larger sum of $115 million allegedly doled out by Mrs. Alison Madueke to influence the outcome of the 2015 presidential election. The court has adjourned hearing to February the 5th, 2018. But that's it from the nation's capital. It's back to you, Ijoma.
All right, thanks a lot, Gloria. Now, members of the Advocacy Committee Against Vandalism in Delta State are asking for the involvement of host communities in the process of installation and surveillance of pipelines. The committee, which is headed by the Delta State Deputy Governor, has been working on finding solutions to the myriad of social and environmental challenges facing the oil and gas sector.
For too long now, the country has been troubled by the militants in the Niger Delta. The restive situation stems from the control of crude, the nation's major income source. While the calm prevails over the Niger Delta, efforts such as this one to secure oil and gas installations is believed to be the platform for inclusive representation to curb the menace.
Functionaries, royal fathers, chiefs.
A 13-point communique resolves that government and the independent oil companies, the IOCs, include communities in oil and gas pipeline surveillance for desired results.
In the past, we are told that we are not educated. That's why hazardous come to our company and work. Now, we have graduates, we have professionals, we have people that have masters. We are not getting that privilege for employment.
The synergy between the host communities and government is not strengthened. Because we sit here, if we leave here, we'll be intimidated. Because oil wells and oil facilities belong to federal government. So that's a yardstick for the multinationals to use security agencies to intimidate us.
Addressing the press after the event, Deputy Governor Kingsley Otuaro, who is also the chairman of the Delta State Advocacy Committee Against Vandalism of Oil and Gas, briefs newsmen on some of the agreements reached by all parties.
Oil and gas facilities will be better secured when communities are treated as partners in the oil industry so that they see their individual collective destinies as being tied to the overall success of the oil industry, which they must protect vigorously.
Like the Pan-Niger Delta Development Forum, PANDEF, other resolutions reached here include the relocation of oil companies back to their states of operation, acquisition of fishing trawlers to improve the fishing occupation in the riverine areas of the state, amongst others. The conference, for many, raises hope for consolidation on the existing peace and that every agreement reached here will be adopted for sustainable development.
Sterling Bank PLC has held its first public lecture initiative on reducing poverty and unemployment through non-interest banking in Nigeria's northwestern state of Kano. The idea is to create awareness of the importance of non-interest banking by creating jobs, especially among the youths.
The businessmen in this hall are hoping to get valuable information that will boost their businesses in the area of non-interest banking, and Sterling Bank is presenting them with a very interesting package. The Executive Director, Finance and Strategy, lets the crowd into what's all about.
Is to make capital available to people so that they can create their own wealth. And so what we hope to achieve is to bridge that gap so that people who possess capital that are not financial in nature can begin to access financial capital and hopefully begin to build the wealth that is required.
The information excites the Emir of Kano, who is the special guest.
Unless we start informing people the way they will understand, we may not really achieve the aim of Islamic and non-interest banking. Therefore, this kind of lecture should be a regular one and accessible to all Nigerians, regardless of their religion, because we're talking about non-interest banking, not only Islamic banking.
The State Commissioner for Commerce and Industry urges participants of the lecture not to ignore the possibilities.
Let us have at the back of our mind, if we sit here, discuss, agree, get all the information from these highly resourced persons, only to go and file them, keep them in our drawers, keep the photographs we have taken. If we do that, we will only regret that there was a day we had some reminders which we should have used. Regrettably, we took them like fairy tales.
For Sterling Bank, it's necessary to create a balance between equity and debt.
So on the equity side, you have partnership, all forms of partnership, many more variations that we can mold from the original concept. On the other side, you have the debt. On the debt side, you have variations of sale contract. By sale, I mean you buy and sell.
This is not the first lecture on non-interest banking towards job creation, but certainly not the last, as Sterling Bank intends to carry its campaign across all parts of the country.
And for the rest of the business news, here's Imana Amawe. Hello, welcome to Business News. A former president of the Nigerian Stock Exchange, Aliko Dangote, has forecast a further rally in the local stock market in the year 2018. The billionaire industrialist gave his outlook on the Nigerian equities market in an exclusive interview with Channels Television in Lagos on Tuesday. The businessman explains how his cement company's $675 million has boosted the fundamentals of the domestic market.
The market has actually rebounded, but I think you could actually see this market, if we continue with good, excellent policies in terms of the economy, you can see this market doubling by even end of this year. Yes, because the fundamentals are right. Even when our shares, our own shares before, we were worth over 25 billion, Dangote cement alone, before. So we still have a lot to catch up. But, as time goes, because the devaluation really brought everybody down because of the exchange rate and everything is being valued in dollars. Naira value, yes. Dollar value, we still have quite a lot to catch up, but like what I said, there's quite a lot of momentum, and in this momentum, a lot of people are very, very busy, trying to rush in to come and invest in Nigeria.
The World Bank says it will be committing $10 billion to support the regional integration program in sub-Saharan Africa, with plans of an increase over the next 3 years. This comes as the Bretton Woods Institution and ECOWAS Commission conclude a high-level consultation event on regional integration as a catalyst to revive Africa's economic growth. The meeting, which took place in Abuja, also assessed whether West Africa is reaping the full benefits of integration under the new Regional Integration and Cooperation Assistance Strategy. And it's a positive close for the equities market today. BC Adebayo has more.
Hello and welcome to the Stock Market Reports. The rally continues at the Nigerian stock market as once again the banking sector drove the all-share index above the 44,000 level by 2.17% on Tuesday. All the major indices recorded gains except the industrial goods sector. Bank stocks dominated the gainers table, led by FBNH, Sterling Bank and Diamond Bank, pushing equities capitalization to 15.782 trillion naira. On the flip side, profit-taking hit the prices of Honeywell Flour Mills, Law Union and Rock, and Jaiz Bank. Transco maintained a place on the activity chart, which also includes FBNH. Investors exchanged 635.4 million shares in 7,331 transactions valued at 7.63 billion naira. And that's it on the stock market reports. I am BC Adebayo.
And most of the world's leading stock markets continued the rally despite a mixed performance by regional stocks. However, U.S. markets pulled back from record highs as investors weigh the possibility of a government shutdown. And that's Business News Tonight. I'm Imana Amawe.